We will explore variety of CSS selector techniques in this video, from the basic selectors like element selectors, ID selectors, class selectors, to more advanced methods such as attribute selectors based on relationships, ancestor, child, and based on siblings, and pseudo classes like hover, state, first child, and pseudo elements, and finally universal selectors like the star. In CSS, selectors are used to target HTML elements on our web page that we want to style. So in this term, the selector function related to handpicking a specific part from a collection, just as one would select a part and proceed to add colors or design to it. Similarly, within HTML, numerous elements exist. So it is essential to pinpoint or locate the desired element subsequently and apply CSS styles to it. Element selector in CSS is a fundamental selector that targets HTML element based on their tag names. So let's say here we select a paragraph tag. So it selects all the elements of a specific type on a web page and applies the defined style to them. So let's say here color blue. This element selector selects all the elements of a specified type. Let's say here article has paragraph, inside the div it has another paragraph, and footer also has a paragraph. So it selects all the paragraph tag of a web page and applies the defined style to them. So here we'll select h1 color orange red. So even add article border 1 pixel solid red. So for the article we add a border 1 pixel and solid red. Selecting the element directly based on the tag name is the element selector, and another name for the element selector is the type selector. In HTML, the ID attribute provide unique identifier for an element within a whole document. So ID should be unique. The ID selector should start with the hash followed by the ID value. Let's say here I can select color orange red. So it is targeting elements based on the ID attribute value. It's important to note that ID should be unique within a page, meaning no other elements should have the same ID value. In CSS, class selector is a way to target multiple HTML elements that share a common class attribute. The class attribute allows you to group elements together that should receive the same styling. So if you start with a dot in the CSS, that indicates you are targeting elements with a specified class name. So you have a class name class, add dot followed by the class name. So class name here is block, color violet. It updates to violet. Now one key aspects of class selector is that multiple elements can have same class name. If you want to select more specific class, then you can combine element name with the class name. Here color red. So here h2.block. So h2 element has block class. So it will select only the h2. Yeah. Even multiple class also you can combine. Let's say dot block. So here we have another one class dot intro. So the intro will become gold. So this indicates that two class with the same class attribute. So block and intro. So now select div dot block border 1 pixel. Yeah. So class selectors allow you to apply styles consistently across different parts of the web page without need to duplicate CSS rule. If you write a CSS class with the styles, so you can use this for any of your web application. You can reuse that. Reusability makes the class name unique. In a live projects, mostly 90% of the selectors are class names. So this will be the mostly used selectors throughout the CSS. Combinator selector used to specify the relationship between different elements in HTML document like parent, child, siblings, descendant. So the DOM tree shows how elements are organized in a web page. It's like family tree where elements are related in different ways as parent, child, siblings, or ancestor. So let's see, for image, article is ancestor, div is the parent, h2 and p's are siblings. So this way the family structure are defined. Let's have few elements for parent-child relationship. First div with p is a child of div. Now add few sibling for paragraph. So section is a sibling for paragraph. Now inside the section we add one more paragraph. So now this paragraph is descendant for div. Now add one more article. Let's start by trying to pick an element based on ancestor and descendant relationship. Let's say div space p. All paragraph element inside div. That's the meaning of this. So it can be child of child, or child of child. It goes on. So let's see, color as red. So now all the paragraphs selected because all the paragraph is descendant for the div. Let's say here we have sibling 1, sibling 2, sibling 3. So now this, for div space, this paragraph won't be selected because these are siblings, not a child or descendant. So let's say if you want to select only the child of the div, then if you add a greater than symbol, so it will only select the child of div. So it can be n number. Let's say if child 2 also will be selected. So all the children paragraph, so that's the meaning here. Now the same section, so all the children paragraph of section. So here in the section only one paragraph. Let's say if I remove this less than and just only have a space or descendant, so all the section, it has two descendant, one child and descendant for the section. So now go with siblings. Let's say div all the sibling paragraph, color as red. So sibling 1 is all 2, 3, all siblings will be selected and change the color as red. Let's say here we have a paragraph before the div, but here elder siblings are not selected as per this criteria. The siblings are always the younger, so it won't select the elder siblings. So if we want to select immediate younger sibling, so the P means immediate, the next to the div. So if we hover over to the plus, you can see div immediately the paragraph element, otherwise it won't work. Let's say if I add a span, as per this criteria it won't work because the paragraph element is not immediate sibling of div element, so that's why the condition not work here. But the general siblings are different, even if it has a different span, so still it select the paragraph siblings, because when you hover over you can see the syntax paragraph dot dot dot, so div element dot 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 paragraph. In between it can be any values. If those are siblings, then it is fine to be selected. So the immediate, so when you add a plus, that mandatorily should be the next element. In this section, we will going to select HTML elements based on attribute using CSS. So attribute selectors allows you to target HTML elements based on attribute name or value of their attribute. So let's say we have a user detail forms. So we have a form with two buttons for reset and submit, and we have few inputs for user first name, last name, and user email and the company URL. So user first name and the email is required important property. So let's go with some example. So first by attribute name, so this we say presence attribute selector. So a best example is, let's say here we have a two mandatory input fields, so we want to highlight two input fields are mandatory. So here whichever elements have required attribute, border color as red, the required property now highlighted with red, so it is showing us these two are important. The next one is by exact attribute value, so attribute equal to value. So let's say here we're going to select type, attribute value is submit, so we'll give submit button color as green. So we will select the type, the value is exactly equal to the submit, so this one selected and background color updated. So next one, instead of just equal to, we have pipe equal to. What it means, so this will also select by exact attribute value and it will do some extra things. So or attribute value immediately followed by hyphen. So what it means, let's hide this. So let's say class have buttons and another one is button hyphen primary. So let's class pipe equal to button. So what it will search is, so it will exactly search for button with a class property or button hyphen or some value. It can be anything. So these two will be matched as part of pipe equal to. Attribute value is a hyphen separated list of words. So let's say, so as per this pattern, these two input buttons will be selected. So let's see, text color is red. So for both buttons selected, both buttons color updated. That's because exact value button available, and another one is starts with the button hyphen primary. So I need to make sure this should be the starting value of the button. So let's say here I am having some another value, then it won't be selected, because so the value given here with the pipe equal, that should be the starting value of the attribute. So it cannot be some middle value or something. It should be the starting value. So here we have one more tilde equal to. So it is a attribute value word sets. So the given value should be a word. So let's say here we have a title, user details form. Let's see title equal to details. So it will set word by word. So if you hover over, you can see element title, some value, details or some value. So it will add, it should be space before and after. So that means it's a word. Let's say add color equal to red. So here whole div elements, so all labels will become red color. If we select class info, so this will also select the div and the whole color will apply. So word by word it will set. Even the word can be in the middle or end. So in this case info is the last word, or starting word also it can be. So anything, but it should be the word. So you cannot randomly choose something like this. So it won't work. So you may notice this only for class attributes dot customer double equal to, so the class tilde equal to customer. So both are same, but here this one is only for the class attributes, but here you can give any attributes and any word. So that's why this attribute will be helpful for all the properties other than class. Here we have some more advanced sets attributes with values. So starts with a given value, ends with a given value, and contains. So before that we just add some links. So here we have a YouTube URL. So one is with HTTPS secure and non-secure, and two Wikipedia links on Wikipedia homepage and CSS wiki page, and internal links. So that starts with a hash. So let's save this. So let's say suppose there is a requirement to change color of anchor tags. We'll set green for links that are secure, that means starts with HTTPS. Give red color for those that aren't secure, I mean just HTTP. So in that kind of scenario, just href, whichever href value starts with HTTPS, then give color as green. So whichever is not a secure link, and select href starts with HTTP, just HTTP, color red. So if you hover over this, you can see HTTP colon and some values. So that means it starts with this value. So this is a substring. Let's say we have to find internal values. So anything that starts with just a hash, just one character also enough, it can be matched. So hash starts with something and give color as orange. It is just substring. You can give some words or you can give any characters. Let's say here so we need to find whichever are ending with the .org, that means .org. You need to change the size of the text. Let's say href ends with .org. So we need to set font size 25 pixel. Yeah. So this actually selects the end of the, if you hover over anything finally with the .org. So we have two orgs, but only this Wikipedia links ends with the .org. This one is not ends with the .org. So we want to set any given word that contains in the text. So that's where, let's say href contains anything that .org, then give a border. So we can see these two border added. Hover over this. So it can be anywhere. It can be starting of the value, ending of the value, or in the middle of the value, anything. So let's say we have a title. So let's say we have a wiki homepage. So here title, search something in. So just select KIHO. It can be any substring of the value. So this will also be selected. So just maybe to highlight something. So we'll just remove the previous value, add color as red. Yeah, so it can be any substring of a word. So star is a wildcard sets. So sets the substring within the attribute value. You need to remember one thing. So attribute selector are case sensitive. So here we have two ordered list with a type as small a and another ordered list with type as capital A. So along with title property small a and capital A. So it has two ordered list. So if we are going to add an attribute selector like type equal to small a, change the color as red, we will think it will select the first order list because it has type small a. But let's save this and you can see instead it will select both ordered list. That's because few attributes are case insensitive. So here I will provide links for details to see list of keywords that are case insensitive. So these are list of keywords. So here you can see the type attributes available. Let's see for reason just change the title instead of type. So now save it. Now this title equal to capital small a, just selecting only the first ordered list. That's because other than these attributes, all the other attributes are case sensitive. So that's why the small letter only matching the first ordered list. We can convert case sensitive attribute to case insensitive by just adding I inside the attribute square bracket. So if I save this, so now you can see the both list colored as red. However, the reverse is not possible. You cannot convert case insensitive to case sensitive attribute, but the vice versa possible. And one more thing, let's say we have a h1 paragraph span tag. So you can specify the element name before the attribute selector to target specific element. For instance, if you just add attribute as title and color as red, so now all the properties, even h1 paragraph span, everything has a title attribute. So that's why all the elements text changed to red. So let's say if we want to select specific element which has title, so let's say h1 here, so only h1 will be selected, span, so even OL, so both ordered list are selected. So in that way to select more specific element. So you experiment with the different attribute selectors with your projects and unleash full potential of the CSS. Thank you. I want to add styling when I move the mouse over to an element or when it is focused through the keyboard navigation. This represents specific states of an HTML element. This is where pseudo classes comes into play. Just for example, here paragraph. So for a mouse over to an element, the name is hover. So just when hover, change the color, border, just and mouse hover over it, add red color and border green. So the pseudo class provides a way to style elements based on variety of states or conditions that aren't directly represented by HTML attributes or document structure. So the hover over, you cannot directly add attributes or elements. So this is a special state. So there are a lot of states available. Let's say for we have an anchor tag. So anchor link. So link in the sense the current link. So I want to change color green. Active. So active will apply styles when an element is being activated. So here for anchor tag it is when we click the link. Okay, we'll see color red. So there is a special visited. So if the user already visited a link, then we can change color to gray. So let's see the link color now changed to green. So when I click the link, so the color changed to red. So visited in the sense this is internal hash URL. So if the link is visited by the user, so the special state visited, we changed the color to gray. So that's why the gray color appeared. Let's say here we have input text box, input disabled. So there is a special state. So disabled, you can choose two ways. One is with the attributes with a disabled attribute selector or input colon disabled. So both way you can do it. So the pseudo class also has a disabled. So border color red, no, for a disabled text box. If I remove the disabled property, it won't be applied. So now focus. So focus is nothing but the keyboard navigation. So even anchor link also has focus. So let's see, now the anchor link in focused state, that's why the color changed to red. Keyboard is in focus state, that means so the background color changed to green. And for a checkbox, let's say for if checkbox checked, add margin left 50 pixel. So here, so when it checked, the margin added, or even you can outline. So yep, so the outline also added. CSS provides pseudo classes to target sibling elements in a document. These pseudo classes allow for more specific styling based on relationship between elements. So two primary pseudo classes used for targeting siblings. The first, the basic sibling selector using pseudo class is, let's say, li. So first child of list. So wherever list is first child, you need to add color as red in that way. So this list is the first child of order list, and this list is the first child of unordered list. So that's why these two are getting selected. So let's say last child. So for this li is the last child of ordered list, and list 4 is last child of ul list. Similar to here, it is a only child, so this is the first and this also last, so that's why this also selected. And there is a one more thing, so we need to check only child. So any list contain only one li, so that we need to select. So here in that case, this li is the only child for this ul list, so that's why the only child. Let's say first last one, if you want to select a specific number or mid something, so that you have to use nth child. So there you have to specify, let's say I want to select the third one, let's say I want to select fourth one, or there is a special property available, it's odd. So odd means 1 3 5 7, and here list 1 and 3. So there also even, and there's a special formulas also you can provide. Let's say 2n plus 2. So what this formula actually means, so 2n plus 3. So the formula 2n, here n is starts from 0 1 2 3 till the child ends, and here 2n means 2 into n. So let's see how the formula goes. The n is step value, so let's say first 2 into 0, the first value of n is 0 plus 3, then 2 into 0, so 0 plus 3 3. So the third element selected and colored. So next is 2 into 1, so 2 plus 3 5, so fifth element selected and colored. So 2 into 2, so 4, here plus 3 7. So after that there is a 9, but here so list only has 8 values, so that's why 9th didn't selected. So 3 5 7 3 5 7. So same thing here in this list, we only have a 3, we don't have 5, so that's why only third element select. So using this formula you can target particular elements based on the formula you given. So it's a more powerful way of selecting elements of a child. So apart from the direct children, there is a, so first of type, let's say here div element has multiple paragraphs, section have paragraph. So first of its type, that means let's say we have a 3 paragraph. So when we give any element name here, that will become the type. So the paragraph type, the first of paragraph type will be selected here. So let's see, so here first paragraph selected, and for the section first paragraph lorem, if you want to understand it is from the section, and here first of paragraph selected, and here we don't have any paragraph, so that's where nothing is selected. So first of its type, so let's say here h5, so only 2 h5 is there, so if I add one more h5, so that one won't be selected. First of its type, so this is also first of its type, among the siblings only it will select. So in pseudo class CSS used to select first element of its type among siblings within the same parent. So it allows you to style the first occurrence of a specific type without considering other elements of different type. So similar to last of its type and same nth of its type, like previously we saw nth child, so the same odd even, the formula also available. So here nth of type odd. So first paragraph selected, the third one selected. So here first selected and here also first selected. So lorem is second one, so that's why. So if we change even, second of its type selected. In CSS we can give multiple elements as a comma separated selector list. Let's say h1, h2, h5, and we add a color. So suppose you are doing some unsupported selector within this selector list. Let's say a unsupported something if you are giving, so this will be affect all the other elements, even h5 color also didn't applied. In this kind of things, if you are using is pseudo class, so it will accept selector list. If anything unsupported, it will only skip that values, all the other elements present still. So the is will take care internally with the checking of this. So it will make sure apply all the values even if it has any unsupported selector in the list or not. This is useful for writing large selector in a more compact form. Is h1, is h2, is hy, is a unsupported, then it will just skip those value and make sure it will apply the valid selectors. And let's say here we have a class leave me alone. So there is something class like that. So let's say paragraph is class leave me alone, then color as gray. So only second is now gray. So we can do some opposite of this. Paragraph is not dot leave me alone, dot class leave me alone, color as red. So we can see the opposite, it's a negation pseudo class. So the dot represents element that do not match a list of selectors, since it prevents items being selected actually. So whatever selectors you are provided inside this function, so this will be omitted, and other than that it will select all the elements and it will do the stylings whatever you added inside. If paragraph is leave me alone, we have a color. If paragraph is not a leave me alone class, then we add color. So there are a lot of pseudo classes available if you open the MDN web docs for each elements. So even full screen also a pseudo class, model, picture in picture. For input it has autofill enabled, read only, read write. So based on categories it has lots of pseudo classes, user accents. So the functional we saw the is, not, where and has. And tree structure, it is a parent child, the nth child, nth last child, first child. So these are tree structure, parent child sibling relationships. So location pseudo class is nothing but for anchor, so link, visitor, target, scope, those things. So I will give the link below, so you can do hands on with all the available pseudo classes. So imagine this scenario. I want to include a specific character before or after each paragraph, or increase font size of first letter in each paragraph or first line in each paragraph. So to achieve this, previously we have to use JavaScript to do this, but using pseudo elements we can accomplish these tasks seamlessly. So let's say pseudo element syntax is double colon and the pseudo element name. You have to select the element. So here paragraph, so I want to increase the first letter, so first letter you can select, and font size 40 pixel. So the first letter of each paragraph, change the font size of 40 pixel. And one more thing is first line. So this line is based on the available screen width. So if we increase here, so the line will be changed. So even zoom out. So the whole first line of each paragraph font size will be changed. So there is a before and after. So before each I want to add content. So there is a, whenever you are using before and after and marker pseudo elements, you have to add content. The content is star. So now same thing for after. So let's see this in the inspect element. So select the paragraph, you can see there is a colon before element, actually it is. So the element added and actual content, and after also one element added. So same thing for this paragraph also. So this is not a special state, so this is an element. So a best use case for the before and after we can see maybe in the Wikipedia or some other page. If you see any links with a special symbol as it shows us, it will open a new tab. So let's remove this. We have an anchor tag. So now we have 3 links. We have a target. So only one link has target as blank. Target blank in the sense it will open in a new tab. So let's say first select, so based on the attribute value, so target blank. So whichever anchor tab has a target blank value, so after those value you need to add content. So content, you can give a text value or you can give URL to specify a image. So here we have a image for new tab. So you can see now. So this will be applicable for all the anchor tag. Let's say if I am adding one more. So wherever the target blank is there, so after each value we need to add the new tab link. So this will be a good real life usage for the after and before. There is one more thing. Let's say you have a list. If you want to change the bullet type to your own desired style or image, you can add it. So that pseudo element is marker. Let's say li marker. So same content, you can give any special values or same you can give URL. Let's say just for example we are using the same new tab link. So you can change the marker, whatever text, content, images you want. So you can customize the marker. So here also if you see this in the element tab, so you can select a tag. So here you can see marker element added for each. Even if you didn't add anything, so by default marker has the marker element always be present, but it has some default styling. So it specified it list style type as disk. And one more thing, the placeholder. Let's say if we have input box, let's placeholder text. So placeholder text, you cannot directly change the color or design of the placeholder text of a input. There is no way without pseudo elements. So that's where input placeholder. Now you can add color as red. So only this way you can change the placeholder color. One more thing. Let's say whenever we select a paragraph or text in the browser, so this is a default background with the blue it always has. So you can change this also using pseudo element. So there is a selection pseudo element. So you can add a background color as gold, color as violet. So whenever I'm selecting, so the background color as gold and color as violet. Even if you want green, so this selection pseudo element. So the last selectors in this list is universal selector. Let's say star. So here the star represents, it will select all the elements in the documents, even HTML document, head, body, everything it will select it. So just I will show how border solid red. So it will apply all the elements. Let's see. So even it applies for whole HTML, body, paragraph, H1. So it select all the elements and it apply. So one of the most common use case for this universal selector is reset or normalize default browser styles. So let's say, so here you can see the HTML and body, you have some margins here. So this by browsers have some default styles. So this universal selector are used to reset the margin, reset the padding, default padding, and used to set font family throughout the whole document. And apart from this, there is a box sizing. So by default box size is content box. So mostly users are try to use border box. So to reset those things, the universal selector used for this particular use case to reset the browser behavior and make sure our browser looks similar in all the browser. Whenever you start a new project, just have this star with a font family and box sizing in your CSS. Then you can build on top of it. So that's it for the selector.